Hello everyone, what's up? Just pinning the comment and just going to wait for Ishita to join. Hi Kodar Kalra. What's your name, Kodar? Just a sec. Sorry. What's up everyone? How's everyone doing? Suvarna, hi. There you are, Ishika. How are you? Let's add Ishika in. Amisha, how are you? Good to see you here. Hi Ishika.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, good.
You
This
look
COVID,
COVID.
sorry? Yeah, this COVID, it's getting, now we're getting used to it. So we have to get used to all the, we need to get out with our mask and everything, and you get going for your work.
True. So,
Yeah.
a quick welcome to everyone who's already joined us on the chat. I think we can wait a couple of minutes before we. But you're looking lovely. You're dressed for
Yes.
nice Indian evening out, is it?
Yeah. Matchmaking drama.
Yeah,
I
actually,
thought
so come,
drama.
should
Yeah.
have uh, should have been prepared for that one.
Yes.
I'm very excited about the chat today. And
Yeah. In
hi, Ash,
fact, I've,
long time.
yeah.
I'm very excited about the chat today,
Yeah, me
and
too.
we're going to have a lot of fun, hopefully.
Yes. Amazing response. In fact.
Very controversial subject. People have
Yeah.
a lot of opinions on it. I had people messaging me sorts of random questions. I had someone ask me, and I actually put it on my Insta story. It was hilarious. If I can do a split, does it mean I'm flexible enough?
Oh
I
God.
thought from a dancer's perspective, yes, but otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, we have a couple of minutes. I don't want to introduce you until we've actually crossed our 4 o'clock time lag. So uh, tell us something. I want anything in the meanwhile.
So yeah, when I'll tell you something besides the matchmaking bit. Let's talk about that, in fact, because we're going to talk a lot about the drama.
Yeah,
So yeah, just that, like I said, getting used to this whole COVID, working style, working from
yeah,
home, online meetings, online schooling for kids. So you know
correct.
how the day just passes by, and there is so much happening. I feel like 24 hours also less sometimes.
That's that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. This entire somehow we've all been feeling extremely busy, wondering what's really making us that busy. But I for one have not minded it at all. I think that the pause was very welcome, and really happy to step back, take a breather, not do anything, chill at home. I have done absolutely nothing productive with my life past so many months, and I'm very happy about it. No cooking, no
But
baking,
you're
no.
an amazing person. You're a super personality. You do already so many things, and
Thank
you're so
you.
well. Everybody knows you. Whenever I sent any in my Insta this creative, oh
Yeah.
I know Anchal, I know Anchal. She's a lovely person.
Oh, how sweet. How
Yeah.
nice. So happy to hear that. Nice to know people think good things about you. I mean,
Yes.
after so many years of workforce, at least that's one good thing. Okay, so
Absolutely.
I'm going to do an introduction first for all our viewers who are already here. I think we have quite a few people joining in at some point. We're still a minute short, but still, I think we can jump right into it because, like I said, I'm very excited about having this chat, and it's
Yeah.
um, we'll get to it. So, Ishika Bhaktani, she's a curator of very fancy, quirky, high-end events. She also runs her own real estate company, and she does this wonderful matchmaking thing on the side because she's that well connected. I've gotten to know her in the past 1 week, and I'm pretty much in love with her. I think she's a wonderful person. I've really enjoyed chatting with her. So I'm looking forward to a really nice, happy, long-standing friendship with you, Ishika. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for accepting my invitation, for being here on this chat. Welcome to Decoding Life with Aanchal. Our subject for today, the Indian matchmaking drama. So let's dive right into it, Ishika.
Yes.
firstly tell me, how did you get into this and how long have you been doing it? This whole
So
process.
basically, it's been about approximately about 4 to 4.5 years,
Okay.
and I actually got into it because, like with God's grace, the networking was always good, and
Okay.
I also started events because of networking. So that's why I thought, like anyways, I was doing events and now real estate for a living. But
Okay.
I thought matchmaking, I don't want to make any money out of it. So it's just for blessings, which we all need at all point of times. And I thought, why not, if the network is so good, why not get two people connected, and if at all they click. See, anyways,
Right.
matchmaking is not so easy. If they click,
Right.
I mean, it's even one person's blessing is really good. So I thought that why not do this for a good cause. So I just began from there, thinking that let's try it out, and it really became. In fact, I got so much. In fact, such amazing calls from people that please find me a boy, please find me a girl,
Oh,
this that. So I actually took that seriously. So I have my family Maharaj. In fact, I'm a Sindhi. So basically, how we have these like certain database in our profile. So he had his and I had mine. So we matched. So
right.
earlier I started off with only Sindhis. Then eventually, when it became more and more people got to know. So I'm like, why should I limit myself to Sindhis? So I did, because I had different caste friends. Gujarati, Marwaris, this that. So and
Right.
nowadays even people even in an arranged marriage, they're okay to see another caste.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, so basically that's how it started.
Very nice. Very nice. So, hey, hi, Sony. How are you guys doing? So, yes, Ishika, tell me, how do you define yourself as being distinct from our traditional matchmakers? Because they have a completely different modus operandi, and you're obviously much younger, you're very socially connected, you have a much cooler, fun vibe. What is your approach to this whole process vis-a-vis our conventional matchmakers?
So you know what the traditional old matchmakers, they what they used to do. In fact, I've been also there. Like basically, even mine is an arranged marriage. So yeah, so even I had gone to these matchmakers in my days. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Huh. So, back then they used to just want to, get two people to meet and, without finding out anything, nahi, nahi, ye acha hai, and just get them to
Yeah,
get connected. But they used to not see what could be the pros and cons later if the girl is not good, if the boy is not good. Two people's lives are getting spoiled just because they want to make money out of it. Those are those commercial matchmakers. So they are out there to just make money and not thinking that, somebody's life can get screwed, just to
yeah,
make money. So I thought that once that I would not charge, because it's not money making. I'm doing it for blessings. So there's something that I'm not going to force anybody. I'm just getting two people to meet, do your whole R&D, do find whatever. I'll also do my R&D for if I know that person very well, or maybe via how Facebook, you need
yeah,
these common friends, and then you get to know more and more contacts, right? So that is one thing. And secondly, those matchmakers used to do this really traditional, calling the parents, meeting the parents in a five-star hotel, and then the girl and the boy sit separately, and then all that. So now what we do, we tell the girl and the boy, if at all you don't want to involve parents, don't involve. Just meet for a nice, simple evening coffee, or like a dinner date at a restaurant, at a lounge or whatever. See how it goes. Exchange whatever conversations you all can. Be honest and about your lives, because it's no more the hidden story anymore.
but I think that process has changed for everyone, isn't it? I think that whole age-old tradition and system of having the entire family gone and sitting on one large table, and some,
Absolutely. I myself have gone through that, so I've also done it. In fact, me
yeah,
and my husband also met like that.
so mortifying and embarrassing for everyone involved. And so many times, you enter a restaurant and you see this, and you're like, we know what's going on in that table.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
embarrassing and mortifying for everyone who's involved. But also, I think the difference is maybe because you also connect people who you actually know, so it makes a lot of
Yeah.
difference that you have a personal equation and a with the people
Yes.
that you are one in touch with. So I think that that makes a lot of difference. But tell me something. What are the factors that you take into consideration when you're putting two people together? Because I know that the whole Indian tradition is all about. You've got to conform to certain rules and laws that a boy has to be in a certain way, well settled, have money, embedded in the family, and then the girl has to be somebody who's very homely, domestic, quiet, submissive, and all of that. So, what are the factors that you take into consideration when you make two people meet? What do you actually see in two personalities when you put them in together? Tell us about that.
So you know what? One thing, Anchal, I in fact give this out to a lot of people that
Yeah,
everybody should try and be balanced. Because nobody gets everything in life. It's
yeah,
it's a known fact that none of us are perfect, and nobody's going to get a perfect Mr. or Mrs. or whatever. So it's never going to happen that you're going to get 100%. So you either the girl or either the boy has to bend somewhere or has to sacrifice something. Either the age, either the color of complexion of the boy or the girl, either the physical personality, whatever the looks, either the emotional bit, either the intellectual level. So there are a lot of factors. So we feel, we tell the boy and the girl, list your pros and cons. What is that you want in your partner? What's your priority? If
yeah,
you say I want to have a rich boy, I want to have a wealthy family, I want to have a boy who's only looking after me and not his parents,
yeah.
who's independent, who's good looking, who's a Tom Cruise, it's not going to work. So it's like you're making a fool out of yourself. So I tell that to all my friends who are not married, that guys, and especially our age is in fact very important. The more older we are getting, of course the options will get limited, right? So when
Yeah.
you're younger, start looking. If not, I mean, if it's in your destiny, get a your perfect soulmate whenever, at whatever age. But I feel that the options get limited. So
Yeah.
I always tell the boy and the girl, list, jot down your pros and cons. What do you want, and what is, what could you get in this person if, whatever,
Yeah.
what is something that you could sacrifice?
Yeah.
So some people, of course, are like okay with maybe lesser money if the boy is earning, like maybe he's not like extremely wealthy in terms of the family, but is self-sufficient, and he's a self-made man. So some people get attracted to that.
But in that context, I think the whole process of Indian matchmaking has been traditionally about aligning two families, right? It's also about,
Yes.
if this family and this family are more or less similar, and that's what they used to say in the olden days, that if your lifestyle, your value systems, if your families are more or less similar, your cultures are similar, then it's a lot easier for couples to stay intact. And if not, then it's far easier for it to break. And that has been the age old argument against a love and an arranged marriage. What is your opinion on cultural differences in marriages?
So you know what cultural differences? Of course, again, one has to adjust. If that happen more in terms of no, basically, if you're into if you have a love marriage,
Yeah.
okay, so you're going to have, if your cultures are different. So either of them has to accept it, that this one is going to be able to do this kind of sort of stuff, and she is that sort, and she's been brought up like that, or maybe the boy. So I feel like one has to accept it. But I think over a period of time, when the girl comes into the boy's house and there's a lot of difference between them, I mean, the girl starts adjusting eventually, right? Otherwise it's definitely going to break, because if you want to make your marriage work, you've got to accept and you've got to adjust.
So that's the other thing, right? It's a recipe for disaster if the woman is not the one who's willing to adjust and make all the accommodations. And again, another factor of our tradition is that, it's the women who are expected to
Yeah.
make all the compromises. What I really actually am, I think my whole purpose of this entire discussion and chat is also to try and break down and understand from you that how many of these age-old traditions have really moved from these old thoughts to like a more broader outlook. Because at the end, we're all Indians. We like to believe that we're all very broad-minded and cool and all of that, but we may not necessarily be. So yeah, like, what do you think about that?
You know what, Anchal? In fact, from our parents' time, of course, things have changed. It's not that it's not changed. People are getting more modern and more broad-minded, but the little bit old school thought remains in everybody. If you ask me today, you and me are of the modern age, but that
Yeah,
little bit even we have, oh no, we, we got to do this for our family, we got to do this for our in-laws, and we got to do, this for our husband, and to, you have to do it in any relationship. So if you take it as husband and wife and in-laws, no, that's when you're going to have an ego and stressful. But if tomorrow if you want to do this for your best friend, you'll do it. You want to do this for your brother or sister, you'll do it. So,
Yeah,
take it. I feel one should accept it again with a lot of love, and like, there's a lot of counseling required. In fact, today's generation, even when I was young and immature that time, of course, even I needed it then. So, of course, with experience only we grow in life, and that's how you learn to tackle things in life. So, out of my own experience, when I'm showing, girls and boys, whatever, matchmaking, I do explain to my friends. In fact, I counsel them. Just today also I spoke to somebody about, because this whole matchmaking live session was there today. They were like, oh, I'm your first candidate and this and that. So I told her, this is what you're supposed to have a mindset about. That's how you're going to find the right boy. Don't have too many expectations. Learn to sacrifice. We've all done it. I mean, it's not that anybody gets 100%, like I said.
right. So, there's one thing that I sit on the side of all these arguments. And when you say that learn to sacrifice, again, in my opinion, it's a partnership, and it's a sacrifice that is made both ways. And I won't say it's
From
a sacrifice because, this whole heavily loaded terms of sacrifice, compromise, adjustment, flexibility. I feel like, to a lot of extent, I find myself repulsed by these terms and allergic when it comes to this whole process of matchmaking. Is that at the end of the day, isn't it, your priorities? There are a few things in an individual that I think that are important to me, and the that I think I can let go, and then you try and match yourself and align your priorities and what you want with the person that you meet. Is there a leeway for this in an arranged marriage setup, or boiling down to usually, like, let's just see if your nature and your money kind of blends into these two families, and let's put them together?
If you ask me today there is. But back in the days, even in my time, like, I'm just married 11 years back. Back in the days, it was just that we see the family, we see how well settled he is, whatever. We don't see any other sort of compatibility only, I feel.
Right.
So I feel today, in fact, there is. And when you said about sacrifice, I only didn't mean a woman has to sacrifice. When I meant a boy also, a man also has to sacrifice, because he also is not going to get everything. I've been having some boys who I'm showing girls to. He's 38 years old, not to offend anybody, but my point is, I want a super pretty girl, I want this, I want that, I want that. It's not possible, that either, like you want everything in that girl. It's, you got to so when he has to sacrifice, you want intellectual also, you want somebody who's independent also, you want super beautiful also, you want who's going to adjust in your family also. It's not going to work, right? Either if she's super independent, she's going to have some sort of ways that she follows, and she's not going to listen to everything that you say, right? So you both
Yeah.
have to adjust. So you have to get that point. So what I mean, say sacrifice is not only a woman, a man also has to sacrifice, and I explain to that.
But
Yeah.
what do you think, about this kind of unrealistic expectation? Because my theory is that, we've tried to move away from our traditions. So we've tried to walk away from, putting people in boxes and checklists, and, this is what my family thinks. And we're trying to be more evolved and adopt the Western culture and look for qualities in a person that we actually want. Physical attraction, compatibility, emotional compatibility, and a lot of other issues. But I feel that now we've kind of combined the two. So in the Western world, these are the qualities that they look for. In our Indian society, we've gotten so evolved that now we want everything that our parents want for us, plus we want everything that we want for ourselves.
Yeah,
So
but it's not possible, Aanchal. Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
what.
it's really not possible. That's unrealistic expectation. I'm sure, like, everybody's seen that Netflix series, Indian matchmaking drama. That's where the Seema auntie says everybody has crazy expectations. It's not possible. It's really not possible. You have to get your priorities right, and maybe choose 2 points from what your parents want, 2 points from what you want, and combine the two and see what you can get in your soulmate, or whatever you call it. Your
Right.
partner.
And how much of this is, when you do the traditional matchmaking as against meeting? First of all, what is your view of meeting someone via a matchmaker versus meeting someone organically? What, according to you, is the difference? And do you think that there's a difference in the success rates of an alliance actually happening? Uh, when it's either a matchmaking scenario or when it's when you meet someone organically. So what
So
is
I'll tell you,
firstly?
yeah. So you know what? The only difference is that when a matchmaker is commercial, again,
Yeah,
not to offend any matchmakers who charge money because they're doing it for their living, of course.
right,
But a
right,
person who's commercial does not realize that just because he or she wants to make money, he's not seeing the perfect match in the person. You know, like, so that's what I'm saying. So in my scenario, I'm making them meet is just that how you introduce a friend at a party. Come on,
right,
this is my friend Aanchal, this is my friend so and so. So you never know how those two people can click. This is the
right,
same way I do it. I'm getting two people to meet so that maybe they find some connection and maybe they can get married or whatever, and then
right.
the goal is achieved. So that's the only difference where there are commercial matchmakers and when there is somebody who's doing it for a good cause and who's just wants two people to kind of meet through your network. If at all it can work, you never know, it may work, it may not work. So that's the only difference.
So what is the kind of background, if I can say, algorithm that you do when you're trying to set up two people? Are you focusing on their families? Are you focusing on their background, education, etc.? Are you focusing on the kind of individuals these two people are? But because very often, much as we'd like to believe that we all fit into the mold of our age-old traditions, a lot of us are actually
Yeah.
breaking away from what from what our how things should be. So what happens in such cases, like where does a conflict arise for you, or do you also follow the traditional pattern of let's see mota mota parents ko kya chahiye or families ko kya chahiye and let's put these two together? What's your background algorithm that happens?
No, so we do follow this. We do see, like, when we're speaking to families, like I said, I do this with my Maharaj. We speak to families, we take a little brief of what they exactly are about, what they would want. It's not that we completely say don't expect at all, but of course, we take a brief and we do take a background of what they are about, what is their, kind of way of living, and all of that we do. And we do try and see if the girl, like if I know the girl, suppose if it's for the boy's family I've spoken to, if I know the girl and I know the girl's family and I know how she kind of is in the day-to-day life, I try and fit in somewhere. Maybe it's not going to be 100% like I said again, but we do match these things. Like the families
Oh,
will be comfortable with each other. Their spending ways are similar. They're on the same page of in terms of doing stuff and going on with the daily lives. If the daughter or if their son is like kind of level headed and can make a decision on their own, it's not that the person is fully
but
dependent.
tell me something. Is it also possible that everything in your families align, your education, your background, your lifestyles, your cultures, your belief systems, everything aligns, and then what happens if two people are so not right for each other, whereas everything else in every other way has aligned for you? How does that work? Are people really given a chance to figure that out, or do people really succumb to families? Like, how does that work? And I
No,
know that.
people do give a chance, of course.
Yeah, but I also know it matters in. Can you hear me?
No, I lost you. Yeah.
I'm saying I know it matters in age groups. I mean, older people
Yeah.
are far clear about what they want and don't want, and I know the younger generation is a little more. But what happens in situations like this then, when on paper everything is right, but on every other level, your chemistry, your wavelength, your mental wavelength, everything is off. What do you do then?
No, then of course there are people, like what they do is also a lot of people try and even in arranged marriage, it's not called exactly dating, but you can go out a couple of times. Like people, like people's parents have become little more open, so they let their girl, they let their daughter go out and be with the boy for some time, go for a couple of dates, go for a couple of movies or whatever, however they put it, coffees, dinners, however. And if they feel that connection, only then. Because what happens, Anchal, if you just want to kind of, if anybody wants to rush in, nowadays divorces have become like the next thing, like a new trend, literally. People have lost patience. People, like, one fight they have and they feel like, no, they can't. And they expect from the opposite person, like their partner, oh, my partner can take up for me. And either ways, it's the wife or the husband. So divorces have become a next level trend now. So I feel like people are seeing that also now, that how soon people are getting divorced. So people are giving time for their courtship, like whatever you call that, even after actually people getting engaged, there's a long courtship that
Yeah.
people wait to get married. In that courtship also, people see if they are really meant to be, then they go ahead with a wedding. But if they can't, they break the engagement, because engagement broken is much better than a wedding breaking, because it's a whole lot of emotion and a whole lot of things involved with a marriage breaking. Of course, nevertheless, people are still breaking the marriages, but it's just that it's better, right?
But do
On
you
a
think that amount of pressure Indian families put on a marriage, and forget marriage on the wedding per se, right? The wedding is made out to be such a big deal that your
yeah.
actual marriage, where your alliance, your partnership with a person just loses focus, and then in all this excitement of leading up to the wedding, you actually lose focus and sight of what it is that two people really need to be compatible to each other, and then suddenly realize after the whole honeymoon phase is over that, oh my god, this is absolutely wrong on every level. Do you think it's because we have unrealistic expectations of people and from the whole process of weddings that we have?
Absolutely. In fact, people are all about, also when people are, planning their wedding, they are also thinking of the other things. Oh, we're going to have this party, that function, this,
Yeah.
my friends, my, my dance, my skate, my this, so people are involved with a lot of that also. Of course, it's people think that's once in a lifetime, because you don't know if you're going to get divorced and remarried again. So you think they're going to get married only once. So people will be like, of course, I'm going to plan the best wedding. In fact, me being a matchmaker, people have asked, I'm into events as well, so people like, you do event planning and wedding planning also? I said yes. In fact, I've joked with people, yes, I will get you a boy or a girl only if the wedding planning is done by me. So then they're like, no, no, no. So I'm like, I was kidding with them. So people do plan their weddings in such a lavish way that they feel like it's a once in a lifetime. So they get so involved with that they are not actually trying to kind of be with their partner so much, and they're just wanting to plan, ye karenge, wo karenge, and of course, what you said is right.
When you've tom-tommed so much about a wedding and you made such a big deal about it, and you've had so many people witness your this amazing occasion, the pressure to stick on to something so that you don't have an embarrassment in the future that, oh, they had such a lavish wedding and look, it hasn't worked out. Do you think that that creates an undue amount of pressure as well?
Big time, Anshul, big
Yeah.
time. In fact, I've known people closely who have had the most, for example, even the most amazing announcement party, like, or whatever, that's Roka, they call it in our
Right.
Sindhis, and whatever, uh, engagement party. So Roka, Kachi Misri, they say it. After having that, and they've planned their wedding, like destination weddings, they plan, we're going to do this, and they send out the invites, and it suddenly breaks.
Yeah.
People go through a emotional breakdown, and how, like, not only the person who's getting married, the families, they just
Family.
go, yeah. I've had the most closest friends who felt that, in fact, because you got to face the society, right? Because
Yeah.
the word has spread all over. But you know what, Anchal, in this also, that's what we do, as even in the process of matchmaking, we do counseling as well. Counseling is not that I'm some professional counselor. It's all out of experience. It's all out of learning through the years, and being spiritual and religious is what, maybe what I've learned. If I can share it with somebody, if it's going to make a difference in somebody's life, why not? So
Yeah.
I provide that as well. So I feel like counseling is so important, because you don't know what happens to somebody's emotional state of mind. Somebody feels so embarrassed that the person is completely under shell and doesn't want to get out, but that's not going to be, because life is full of ups and downs. Somebody's
Yeah.
got this, somebody's got a wealth issue, somebody's got some business issue, somebody's got whatever health issue,
Yeah.
anything. You got to kind of be there for each other.
Do you have you ever had a potential bride and a groom tell you that, this is, I know my family wants all of this, but none of this is what I want in my life? Or have you think you've had families who've come and said that, uh, this is what we define that we want in our son-in-law and daughter-in-law, that doesn't necessarily align with what the bride and the groom want? Does that also happen? Do you see people just
Lot of yeah, yeah, yeah.
into
In fact, what happens is that I've had stories like, because of peer pressure and because of parents' pressure, the girl gets engaged to a so-called whatever, the boy that they've made her meet. But
Yeah.
she actually doesn't want to get married to that person. So she does all sorts of wrong things to kind of have some sort of friction or, have some fights in that relationship because there's been a scene that because she's dating somebody else and she's so scared to actually tell her parents that she wants to
Yeah.
break this engagement,
Yeah.
and she feels that this is not the right match and who she loves is the right match. And so
Correct.
all sorts of these things also happen. And also when like parents feel like, oh, for my son I want this typical girl the way I want. I look at it, my bahu is going to be like that, but the boy gets married to a firang. So you can't do anything about it. You like, there are times it happens, the parents do tell us, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So you just
Correct.
can't do anything about it. We are there to kind of make you meet the right
Meet the
kind of, yeah.
you to figure your compatibility out.
Yeah.
I'm going to just put in a quick word with all our viewers out there. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you have
Yeah.
any questions for Ishika, please feel free to post them. We'll take them up as we go. Because I know everyone feels very strong. If you've had experiences that you want to share, Ishika, I've had so many messages coming to me when I posted this chat, and I had a very dear friend of mine, and we've I've known her for many, many years. And she had a very interesting point to make. And she said, Anchal, today it's about the journey and not about the destination. She said it's very, very important to have a really, really good partner in your life that really cares for you. Um, and if this involves, sorry, I lost connection for a second. Can you hear me? Ishika, can you hear me? I think, Ishika, did you hear any of what I said? Viewers, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah, I
think you
can
are
hear
in,
you. Yeah.
because I seem to have a full connection. But anyway, I was telling you that I had a friend, and I had this entire conversation
Yeah.
with her where she said it's really important in today's day and age to really have a good partner. And what is marriage other than what's being defined on paper? And a lot of marriages don't make it through. A lot of partnerships, live-in relationships make it through.
Yeah.
And she was like, I tell my daughter the same thing. And as far as my son is concerned, that I really would like to raise him as an individual who respects women. And I thought that was so interesting. And I said to her,
Yes.
I said, I have to read this out in my chat today, that I think that if people really change their mindset, and if mothers, because they're the ones who influence their daughters and their sons and raise them to be, really practical individuals who are very, uh, who really allow the other person to have their space as well. I think it makes a lot of
Lot
difference.
of difference, Anshul. Today I have a son. I'm already thinking on those lines. I'm like,
Yeah,
I tell my son, Vivan, when you grow up, you have to respect women. The first thing is respect women. Make sure that your
yeah.
wife is treated like a queen. And of course, she should treat you well as well. But it's both ways. Not only just because you're the man of the house, does not work like that. I tell him that. I make sure that I'm going to be that sort of a mother-in-law only. I already am in that line.
That's amazing, because I feel that today you and I don't change and don't bring this change in our children. How to change, and we're just going to endlessly be living in that Indian cycle of a woman being, expecting to be adjusting and compromising and not have an opinion or a view of her own, and men are just going to be lording it over, and so are the families. But anyway, very interesting. I would love to take questions at this point. Hi, Tams, how are you? Very happy to
I
see
tell
you here. Hello, Dia. So, to our viewers, if you have any questions for Ishika, please feel free to share them. Ishika, if there's anything you feel I've missed out and you'd like to, share with our viewers. And I also had some friends. Can you please share her number in chat, because I know two friends I want to set. I want to be set up. Other thing,
yes, sure.
uh, your number on the IGTV video. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to
Yes.
also ask our viewers to leave questions for you if they want to reach out to you, if they want to get in touch, if they want to get in touch with you for anything. Do you plan the wedding too? Yes, she does. Yeah, she gives you the whole box. She
I'm a
finds you.
one-stop shop. One-stop shop. Like I
Yeah,
take the headache from starting to the end, getting you the partner till the end,
yeah.
and it's all on me because I have an event company as well. So
Yeah.
we do all of it
And then
from
she
the
can find the house. Once you have children, she can help plan their birthdays. It's an
exactly.
endless.
And guys, no, there are some people who say we don't want to spend on the wedding. We want to, in fact, save that money and buy a property. So I say I'm in the real estate company as well.
Exactly.
So don't
Exactly.
worry, I have the property marketers with
All
me.
your needs in life are answered by Ishika Bhaktani. Like she's your one-stop shop for everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a fun chat, Ishika. I think if we don't really have uh, Renu, thank you. I want
Yes.
boys for three closest friends. Yeah, Tamanna, we know. These are private chat conversations.
Yes.
Uh, we are going to wrap this chat for now. What if I don't want
Yes.
to marry? Even will you help me find someone? Yeah,
L-
please, someone.
For living, to live in.
Please find her someone for living in.
Okay.
Anyway,
Who Tam said that, right?
overrated these days.
Yeah.
It's
Ab-
it's I think it's something that the society has confirmed to. I don't think human beings are meant to be monogamous, and anyone who says that they are, I know they're just lying through their hat. Right, Tams? Tell me I'm
Absolutely.
right on count.
Yes. It's
think,
really
but
it's really fun also doing this as like being young, because usually people
yeah,
who are older who do this matchmaking thing, we all know that, right? So my whole mindset of even starting this was only and only purely because it just came from my heart. I said, I know marriage is something that people really look for, and it's still there in our society that
yeah.
we get married. So I was like, why not start this, and why not for a good cause, So I started and really, really became like so cool, and everybody started calling me, and it just works like that.
No, in fact, sometimes even Tamanna and I have this conversation. I really think that I guess maybe because we come from an Indian environment, a lot of girls think they really want to get married. Very often, I feel a lot of girls don't actually want to get married.
Yeah,
You know,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So there's a huge conflict in your mind about what is expected from you traditionally and what you actually desire, and it's very hard sometimes to bridge this gap for people, girls, even boys in their 20s, early 30s, because you've not developed your careers, you've not developed your you don't have the confidence, you're still going by what your family tells you, by what is expected of you from society and traditions or whatever. It's only when you cross that age factor, age barrier, when you become financially independent, do you really understand that, okay, this is what I want and this is what I don't want,
Exactly.
uh, vis-a-vis what my parents want and what my parents don't want,
Yeah.
so it's my only hope that everyone out there is just really honestly true to themselves, and whether it's a live-in, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a relationship, whether you decide to stay single, uh, just be happy in whatever you
Happy.
do and be true to
Perfect.
yourself, and wishing everyone all the best. Thank you
In fact,
so
I had
much.
session, even though somebody is thinking of marriage, whether it's a girl or a boy, of course boys eventually land up doing something of their own in terms of making the money and all, but I feel girls important to be financially independent. Do not
Of course.
think that, oh, because you're going to get married so you are going to get everything and you're sorted, because you never know when there's a downfall in life and you've got to stand up on your own, or maybe.
Very interesting point that you brought up, because I think a lot of Indian girls, I'm very glad you brought this up, because I think a lot of Indian girls just train their mind to go to school, go to college. From being
Exactly.
supported by their fathers, they now want to be supported by their husbands and in-laws.
Yeah.
And that's just their transition. And then you're literally flitting through life, expecting someone to look after you. And when life doesn't fall into place in that respect, that's when your reality hits you hard and you realize that, oh, I really need to step up.
I am
Very
one of them, in fact, because I will do a story whenever soon. This was my story. In fact, I've always wanted to be independent, but you know how you sometimes your
yeah,
parents just want you to get married. You're just in that phase that you're whatever your parents are saying, you do. So when you get married, you're obviously going to be dependent on your husband and your husband's family. So
Yeah,
there is going to be a bad time where you got to make it for yourself, and then you have to support maybe your husband, or at whatever time it's out of
yeah.
your attachment, love, and
That
our
has
upbringing is such. Just because a husband or his family is not doing well doesn't mean that you leave that person. You got to
correct.
support him. So that's the upbringing, right? Of course, how much ever you can. So that's why I say girls should be, at least some sort of independence should be there in them, so that whenever these times come, in fact, it happened to me, so we'll do that story whenever possible. It happened to me, and with God's grace, I just stood up, and in the society I faced everything, and with God's grace, again today I'm on my own.
I shared this story, and I think it's incredibly brave of what you've put yourself through and come out at the other end and built all of this phenomenal businesses while having, a family, while having a child. I've been single and I've been, focused pretty much on my career my entire life, and I have incredible respect for women who are able to do a balance between their careers and their homes, because I feel like that's an aspect I just don't get how women do it. How you possibly do both and yet look so stunning, fabulous, have a social life. I have some of my really incredibly wonderful girlfriends also joining on this chat, Anoki, Saloni, and I know that they're really, really multitasking, and I think women are made. Uh, but, uh, but yeah, thank you again so much for being on this chat.
Yes,
It's never enough how much we talk about this subject,
absolutely.
and we should definitely do another one soon.
Yes,
And I will see you very soon at the other end.
yes, we'll see you soon.
Thank you. See
Take
you.
care. Bye, see you.